Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Surviving UX podcast. We are here for you. I am Meg Kramer. My co-host Jessamyn Edwards are here to help you with all the emotions about your job that you don't quite understand. My poor kid tumbled out of his playpen this morning, and I made up on the spot a great song to help him self-soothe. But of course, in the passing hours, I don't
Oh,
remember any of it. So don't
huh.
ask me to sing it. But
Come on.
it was all about feelings and how sometimes it's really hard to have these feelings. But even though we don't understand exactly how we feel, and anyway, so maybe if he does it again and has not learned that if he climbs out of his playpen, it will hurt him. I might
Oh,
have to do it again. So,
I
Jessamyn, how are you? Any tumbles with you?
um yeah, my son fell down the stairs a couple weeks ago. I don't know if I shared that tidbit with you, but we got another baby gate at the top of the stairs after that.
Mhm.
And yeah. So I fully appreciate now that like somebody said to me the other day, "Oh, do you believe in childproofing, or do you think that the children should just be taught to stay away from things?" And I was like, oh, like
They
give
must
me
not
a
have a quick child. Like,
that's that kind of stuff, honestly. It's like I can just envision, I can just see the person who dreamed up that ridiculous idea that a child would be able to like
monitor.
keep themselves away from an electrical outlet or a hot stove or a tall staircase. Like they're probably a beautiful, well-dressed, slim, healthy woman with beautiful children
Hmm.
and who don't give them any trouble, and they don't eat sugar, and they,
And
they probably have
sometimes
a
they all
book,
dress alike for
and they're
family
probably
photos.
they're probably not vaccinated. But anyway, yeah, I'm just like, what a joke. And whoever's telling you that, like, please stop listening to that person. Like, please get a baby gate or whatever it is. My God. So that's just so ludicrous to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Well, I have a chip on my shoulder this week.
Yes, I'd love to hear about this
Yeah.
chip.
So imagine this scenario. You're at a company, your UX group is structured a particular way. You're all trying to do the best that you can. And then like sweeping layoffs come through the company, and maybe parts of the UX team are decimated, or the certain people are kind of like picked out and gotten rid of. And you're just left with whatever's left. Like you're some of the ones that are still there, and you're just doing the best you can with like the little resources you have left, and you're just gritting your teeth and getting through it and not understanding why they would have canned people that are doing work, and you're taking on that work now.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not as if the work just can't get done. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that really bothers me about some of these decisions with regards to layoffs is like it seems like an afterthought of like, oh, well, we got rid of these people, but not the projects or the initiatives.
Mm.
We still need those to run. And it's like,
They
well,
want to
who
do
would you
more with
like to
less.
do that? Anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
that all happens. That happens a lot to people. That's happened so many times to me in my career. But then the thing that just really like kicks you in the nuts is then they open a rec for something like VP of design or VP of UX, or they
Mm.
basically, or, some leader or some position, and it's like just slightly different from the one that they
Mm.
got rid of because
Mm-hmm.
at least in some places it's not allowed to hire back to positions you just got rid of. You have to make the argument that like, oh, that role
Oh,
wasn't
that
a
role
good
was
fit for the
eliminated.
role was
Uh-huh.
eliminated, but we still need somebody in a different role. And I
Mm-hmm.
just hate this scenario. I absolutely hate it. It takes your employees from a position of just being so overwhelmed with the sadness of losing colleagues, of losing the structure that they were used to, and then the overwhelmness of having all of this work to do,
Yeah.
that they didn't have to do before, and then just undercuts all of that by saying, like, oh, maybe we were wrong, or we had a vision all along for how we want to reorganize this. And I just think, since I've been through this a couple of times, I
Mm-hmm.
honestly think that it's purposeful. And I honestly think it is to like destroy some morale. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that it is to bring somebody in new who maybe doesn't have the like emotional relationships with
Oh
people
yeah.
and can kind of
Mm-hmm.
look throughout the org that you're, you know, that you're part of, or the UX team is part of, and kind of just like from an outsider's perspective take a stab at greater efficiency. And it is not a good situation. Anyway,
Mm.
I just
Is
I
this a hypothetical, or are we talking about something that went down?
well, you know, it's this a friend of mine brought this up to me this week,
Mm-hmm.
and I had like flashbacks of,
Mm.
I had forgotten all of this stuff that had
Work
happened
politics.
in
Yeah.
previous roles throughout, you know, the years I've worked in UX and in
Mm-hmm.
tech. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I feel like my whole body is going through this anger, this like
Mm-hmm.
rage that I felt during those times.
Mm.
And so I was,
Yeah.
yeah, I was just like,
A lot of
this is never
politics.
good. It's never good. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what to say. So if you're in that kind of situation, man,
Mm.
I guess all I have to say is you are validated in feeling like things are
Oh,
shit.
so it sounds like maybe somebody they got laid off, they were affected by a reduction in force, and then they see a job opening at their company.
Yeah, but it's not just for the people that were laid off, it's for the people that are
Mm-hmm.
still there. I think that's the thing, is like how
Oh,
demoralizing it is for the people that are
oh,
still there, who have to now see like a perhaps beloved colleague get ousted,
uh-huh,
and then
uh-huh.
have somebody brought in brand new who's like maybe slightly different in their role, but really not different at all.
But I think that's so intentional
It
because
is.
they
Yeah.
want to break up those relationships. Like
Yes.
they want to force people to realign to a new leader, or to, the favorites of the old leader aren't the favorites anymore, that the new leader doesn't have those same favorites, and they'll make
Mm-hmm.
new favorites. So then those people have to be like, whoa, I've got to figure out what makes this leader happy now. I've got to
Mm-hmm.
shine in a different way or something. So yeah, it's very political. I think work is very political, jobs are very political, hiring is very political. And and getting work done is very political. And I think UX is not immune to that at all, because you have to constantly be working with all these different stakeholders and different job functions and different groups, and everybody's got their own rules. And you're a lot of times like alone, or maybe, maybe you're part of a team, but a lot of times designers, they have to kind of navigate that stuff solo. And you have to find out, like, oh, who's in charge here and who gets to make these decisions, and
Yeah.
who do I have to please to get something
Right.
done over here.
Right. And it's just a challenge of relationship building, which
Mm-hmm.
it never needed
Yeah,
to be.
right. Gosh,
Ah,
this is
anyway,
wild.
I'm
Well,
fired
my
up,
heart goes
but
out to your
yeah,
friend. It
thank,
sounds really painful. I hope that they are able to move past that and feel good about what they did and their time there, and look back fondly on it at some point. But it sounds rough. It sounds like it would be a rough thing to go through. Um, so, folks, we do have another co-host today, another special guest on the pod, that I'm really excited to welcome. So, our guest today is a UX designer and has worked at AWS, Highland, Disney, Glam, and Virgin Radio. She is currently the creative director of a company called Essence of Hockey. She can ice skate, and she plays on a co-ed hockey team, folks. So we're talking about some talent. Please welcome Bahar Espiritu.
Hi, hi, hi. Thank you so much for
welcome.
having me.
Hey,
Thank you,
Bahar.
Jess, Meg.
I am just so impressed that you know how to ice skate.
Oh, thank you. I know I'm surprised too. I don't know how I did.
When
What
did you learn
age?
how to ice
Yeah,
skate?
that
Yes.
was totally my first question, Justin. Is like, what age can you start learning how to ice skate?
You can start any time. Like I honestly started last year, And
What? And you
I
play on a team?
yeah, well, it's a dedication. You have to dedicate time. You have to just go for it, not be afraid. I think it helped that I kind of like spend my 2+ decades being around hockey players, and
Okay.
I skied a lot,
Okay.
so it's meh, it's different, but also you're
Skiing is
used.
really demanding on the body, though. I mean,
And
you have to
ice
be fit.
skating too,
Yeah.
and you have to really like work those muscles. But yeah, been
Wow.
around them, and it was just seeing them, like they were my inspiration. So I jumped at it, and it's been really cool.
That's so impressive. I remember when I lived in Boston watching kids get out of the car and go into hockey practice carrying these gigantic duffel bags of
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
equipment and being like, whoa, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It is a lot of stuff. Yeah, you're pretty much cushioned. So that's another good thing about hockey, that you know that if you fall, you're okay.
Okay, that's good because falling on the ice feels like concrete. It is so
Oh,
painful.
it is. It hurts if you have nothing. Yeah,
No protection.
definitely. No
Ugh.
protection, that can hurt. So yeah, I never want to be a figure skater, because they
Uh-huh.
fall, and
Yeah.
that really hurts.
Ooh, yikes. So hockey's been part of your life for 2 decades, it sounds
Yeah.
like. Wow.
Oh yeah.
And and then how did you get into design?
Well, I have always been I consider myself an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
I was an engineer turned in design. And the long story short, I saw a need in a field of engineering, and it was all lacked by the design of that particular
Mm-hmm.
software. And again, this was very new to me, and I'm talking about probably like 20 years ago again,
Mm.
maybe 15, 16 years ago, where I was an engineer, like a robotic engineer, and I saw that the software that we were working with, it really lacked onboarding, and it lacked a lot
Mm.
of things. And again, back in day, software was not as intuitive as the software today. So I just biased for action myself
Yeah.
at the time, and then jumped at it, and I tried to kind of define it and personalize it to the engineering floor. And then the funny thing is that I was a student at the time. I was a research student, and then the engineers, they actually stopped using the actual manual that was published by the company, and then they started using my little naive research student papers to onboard themselves to this software. So
Oh.
Okay.
and
Nice.
that was a trigger for me. I was like, oh, this is really cool. I really took pleasure in it.
Yeah.
Because I could empathize with them. I knew what the problem was, gathered data in my, little way.
Mhm.
And just, I think that was the moment that I turned designer.
Yeah. You wrote the missing manual, basically.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I imagine
And
it to be like taking, a giant like dictionary size manual down to like an IKEA step by step
100%. And honestly,
drawing.
exactly, I drew, and then like, I didn't really know any software at the time, and I remember that like Photoshop wasn't as perfect as it is today, so I couldn't even use it. But I hand draw like everything just
Mhm.
to kind of define this is the high frequency structure simulator. It's still people are still using it. The software has improved way more from back in days. But yeah, definitely it was like a probably about 1,000-page manual that I kind of shrunk into 20 something pages for each subject. So like in total, like 100-page. But yeah.
Wow.
Wow. That's amazing. It always feels good when you find something that no one else has done, but there's like a need, and it's something that like nobody asked you to do, but you're like, this needs
Hmm.
doing, and I think I can do it. I love that kind of project where you are just figuring it out and you are like, I'm going to do this. No one's going to have to tell me. I'm just going to do it. And it works out. That's super awesome.
Totally. Yeah.
I want to know your career. You have not just worked in UX in the United States. You have also worked overseas. And I'm really curious because that's the case for a lot of designers. I've worked with many people who, started their career in one country and then moved to other countries. Tell me, like, what has it been like for you moving to different places and practicing design in different
Mhm.
countries?
Well, again, in the starting of your career, you do have different values. Like maybe today, my values are different than when I started. And after I kind of switched from engineering to design, uh, I knew nothing. I wasn't that, typical designer knowing how to work with the tools or understanding branding. So I was kind of on a hunt on joining a company that would teach me these things that I could. And I'm pretty hands-on. Again, being an engineer, I am a person that I learn things through doing, including skating, by the way. So, so it was for me. It was a more so okay. What is a company that I really adore, and let's see if I can get a role there. And I knew that might need to go to places that are unknown, and
Mm.
it really scared the crap out of me. I was
Hmm.
really scared because it would be a new place. It would be a language that I didn't speak. It would be probably like people that I did not know from other countries. And that exact thing happened. So Virgin Radio was opening a branch in Dubai back in 2008, and I did the interview. I got in. I was so lucky that I got the job. I'm
Gosh, that's
sure
so
that
cool.
they were better candidates than me, but the person who hired me and my boss at a time, he said, I see potential in you and I want to flourish that. And I
That's
know
so
that you're the
cool.
person that you want to learn. And I really like that about you. And that's it. And I spent the 3 years in Dubai.
So, Dubai Bling is a show on Netflix that you may or may not have enjoyed as much as me, but there is a character on that show who has a show on Virgin Radio Dubai.
That is right. We started working together in Virgin Radio. Actually, you're talking
Are
about
you
Chris.
serious?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, Chris
Oh
and
my
I.
gosh.
Oh my
That is
gosh, I know.
incredible.
Chris and I worked at Virgin Radio back in 2000. Chris is still a star
What's his
of
last
the
name? I'm
show.
trying to remember.
Chris Fade. Chris
Chris
Fade
Fade.
is still a
That's right.
show, like a star of the show, still the number one DJ, I believe, in the UAE,
I
and
love that show. I loved
yeah,
him and his parents and his girlfriend, who I guess is now his wife,
yes,
because they were just wild. And he's like a dad. He has like a daughter or maybe two
he
daughters.
is a great dad.
Oh
Chris
my gosh, that
is,
show.
honestly, I am jealous of the girls because Chris is not just the perfect RJ, radio DJ, but he's also a perfect family man. He is about to have, I think, his third child very soon.
Okay.
But I remember when I was back in Dubai and he had his like two girls, and I would like hold his older daughter, and that's how long back we
That
go.
is
But
wild.
it was pretty awesome
Oh my
working with him.
gosh.
I learned a lot from Chris.
I learned a lot from Dubai Bling. And I those were some hours well spent. We actually I got so inspired watching that show because I have not watched a lot of Arabic television. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I just
Yeah,
haven't had that opportunity. And it is so beautiful. Like the language is so beautiful to listen to
that
spoken
is true.
that
That is true.
I got Duolingo on my phone and I did some Arabic lessons
No
with
way.
with myself and my daughters too. And
What?
this is the second time I've actually tried to self-teach myself some Arabic, and it has failed pretty much miserably. I've learned almost nothing, but I've enjoyed it because I used to, back when this is like maybe 10 years ago, I got like CDs that you play in the car,
Yes,
and
yes,
I
yes.
would play them in the car, and I kind of learned how to count to 10, but I could barely do it. And anyway, I
It's
just, yeah.
it's a hard language. It's not easy.
It was yeah. It was I'm not great at it, but I just enjoyed it so much, and I was like, man, maybe one day I'll get the chance to really learn this. But it was so fun to hear it spoken, and that show is just nuts. I mean, it's so far from
Yeah.
everyday life. It is beyond, but we could actually start a new podcast about Dubai Bling, perhaps.
Absolutely.
Um
I'm sure we can get Chris on the show.
yes. I think we should.
So when
But
you
I
were
think,
working
yeah.
in Dubai,
Yeah.
just like speaking of languages and living and working in different places, have you worked places where you've spoken other language other than English, or even like
Yeah.
had to work in like in a multi-language context?
Sure. So I'm originally Iranian. I'm Persian, so I speak Farsi, and Arabic kind of came easy to me because we do share the same letters and
Mm.
same writing, although it's very different. It's night and day. It's like saying that French and German is like two very different languages.
Okay.
But I also did try because working in Dubai, everybody speaks English.
Mm.
But it would be nice to also know and understand Arabic because of the work that I was in. Because the broadcast companies in the UAE they work with the government, and we always got, for example, the liners in Arabic. So we had to, for example, like translate, or like I had to check before, because I was the content strategist there. So like we had to make sure that what content we're putting on air, all that stuff. But yeah, so I speak Farsi. I understand Arabic. I speak a little bit too. I do have an extended family in Germany, so I also do speak the language, and I speak it actually with my nephew. Uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, and a little English here and there.
Do you get
Um,
to use your languages? Like, I feel like for me, this is actually something that frustrates me, is that
hmm.
I have a passion for like French and Spanish and Portuguese. Those are the languages that I've studied and learned in my
Wow,
life. And but
that's amazing,
I
Jess.
don't get to use them. I don't get to use them in tech. Like ever since I
Hmm.
got into tech, I've had to put that sort of chapter of my life kind of on the back burner. And
Hmm.
I've always thought it would be so cool if I could figure out a way to bring that back into my
Hmm.
life. Like, how about you? I mean, that's amazing that you have that skill, right? How can you bring it into your life?
I think it's already in my life because of my multilingual family. Like, I've
Ah,
the parents and my brother-in-law who's German, and and like friends that I have that still, they still live in the UAE or like other parts. And so again, I feel like it's because it is in my life, I get involved. But
yeah.
also, I think it's America too. Like when you're here, I actually don't really get a lot of chances of talking and speaking, for example, Farsi. Even when I call my sister, we both
Yeah.
are Persian, we still speak in English. Why? Because we want to respect the around us, and then like whoever is listening or
Uh-huh.
whatever, we just want to be respectful. But yeah, I don't also really get to speak these other languages unless I go to their environment. Like for
Hmm.
example, if I go to Germany and then maybe I practice. And then the funny thing is that I go and I want to, for example, order my coffee, and then they immediately like understand from my accent that I am not a German. They reply in English to me, and then we
Hmm.
continue and carry on in English. But
Mm.
I feel like the environment is really important.
Yeah.
So I'm
You
so,
have to
first of
travel
all,
basically.
just like, I'm so impressed that you're like learning all those languages. That's not easy, because
That is, for me as a kid, even that was
yeah.
the thing I was good at. And I was a Spanish major for the
Mhm.
first couple years of college. I eventually kind of switched things up, but
Mm,
I always thought that like Spanish and French would be how I made my living because those were the things
wow.
that I was good at. Design did not come into the picture until later.
Hmm.
And design was how I was able to make a living. So that's why I pursued it, because there just weren't as many opportunities for the foreign language. But it did open doors for me. I can't I did Peace Corps and things like that.
Yeah.
And I worked at call centers. But design, like being in tech, it's English. And at least for me, it has always been a lot of English. And that's been a dream of mine to figure out how to bring in the Spanish or the French
Yeah.
I am
and do that.
so, yeah, I'm so impressed by both of you and your language learning skills. And one of my fondest, maybe not fondest, but most remarkable memories of working with Jessamyn, or Jessamyn, you and I being friends, was when you applied for a job that was going to be at a company that was entirely Spanish speaking.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And I
Oh
just
my
remember you
gosh.
prepping for that. And I don't know if you did your talk, like you practiced your talk with me. I can't imagine that you did, because I wouldn't have understood it. But like, I was just like, oh my God, I cannot believe that Jessamyn is prepping going and applying for a job is already so challenging. And then to be doing it in your non-native language is just, like, and obviously, of course, many people are doing that all of the time, all over. So it's, I
Yeah.
shouldn't, I
Oh,
guess,
that was
like,
a
but
really
that was
intense
like,
job
I was like,
interview.
do you remember that? Because I feel like
Oh,
that's
I
like one of my
totally,
like
that
most
was a huge,
top
like a
10 memories of
heartbreaker.
you.
That was a heartbreaker for me. So long
Yeah.
story short,
Oh.
I interviewed at this company. I did a ton of phone interviews. This is why job hunting is like so painful, because I did so many phone interviews. They had me talk to like everybody at the company. And I did a lot of that in Spanish. Then I
Wow.
flew to Miami and had to give a presentation to the team. And so I had to come up with a workshop in Spanish for the
Wow.
team. And so I did. And but I did not get it. They said my Spanish wasn't good enough. And so I was like, okay, we're in Miami. There's a lot of Spanish speakers here. Like maybe I could, learn or get better. I mean, because I think all the time when I work with coworkers that, they bring a lot of skills to the table. English reading and writing isn't always everyone's top skill. Could they overlook my, Spanish, or be like, okay, that's something that she's going to be working on, and
Mm-hmm.
but she's
Hmm.
bringing the design. But for them, also the other thing was like they all look like supermodels. Like, I mean, it was
Miami for you.
not right. I didn't know that. Honestly, it's not until I started getting more into reality television that I realized, like, in parts of the world, women have to really dress up. And I can put on a dress, you know what I mean? And I can put on makeup and jewelry, but I've never been like, hey, let me get my 4-inch heels out,
Oh
or
my God.
my rhinestone
I
dress.
probably break my head or something if I
Oh,
were
I
to.
absolutely would. But this environment, it was not your typical tech office with jeans and hoodies.
Yeah.
Everyone looked amazing. And I
Hmm.
wore
Yeah.
like a dress and like flat sandals. And I looked like, I don't know, many notches below the rest of those
I'm
ladies.
sure you
And
looked amazing.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
No,
I'm
you
sure
looked
I
amazing.
look
Yeah.
back now and be like, oh, I look so great. But at the
Yeah.
time, I was like, whoa, I'm way underdressed. And my hair is like 8 inches shorter than everyone else's hair. So, like, I think it was not a
Yeah.
fit. I mean, I'm sad about that one, but it was
Yeah.
definitely, that was wild. That
Well,
was wild
before
going
we
down there.
run out of time, I want to
Yeah.
segue to back to like UX and hockey, and maybe a little bit of what you're doing
Yes.
now. So
Hmm.
do you wear hockey jerseys all the time to work now? Is that
Uh-huh.
and tell us a little bit about like how
Yes.
UX and hockey have merged for you in your life.
I'd love to wear jerseys to work, but well, if I have to work in my home office in my studio, I actually, because I do a lot of voiceover, and I do a lot of, like, I'm a voice artist, and then for the content that that the company creates, I do all the voiceover. So
Mm.
it's better to always like wear something that doesn't really makes noise, or so I try to like stay away from wearing a garment that make noise.
Ah,
But I do volunteer at the Seattle Kraken for the grassroots, and yeah, when I go, I am always in my hockey jersey, either my hockey jersey or my my trainers, and I have my hockey skates on. Sometimes I don't even take them off. I just have them like half a day and just walking around with my hockey skates, and so whenever I need to go on the ice, I just go.
Wow.
But yeah,
yeah.
it's a lifestyle. Like,
Talk
it's a
about
lifestyle.
crashing from 4-inch heels. I think Jessamyn and I would probably fall over if we were
Oh
walking
my
in
gosh.
skates all the time.
That's wild. So the Seattle Kraken, tell us more about what that is because I'm not familiar.
So it's Seattle Kraken is the National Hockey League of Seattle, basically,
Okay.
and they formed about this is their third year. And a great team in the West
Okay.
Conference, and they have great players, and also they have programs for the Seattle Junior Kraken, which is pretty much like starting from the age of 5 or 6 years old, you can start learning to skate and learn to play. So currently, I do volunteering programs for the children between the age of 5 to 9 that want to learn how to play hockey. Um,
Oh,
and uh, and then the essence of hockey was kind of, as the name comes around, that the essence of hockey is basically everything that comes with hockey, because game of hockey is a lifestyle, is a dedication, is consistency, it's all of it, right? It's not
wow.
just going, putting a skate on, going and just like beat the heck out of everyone on the ice. No, it's more than that. It's 90, I want to say that hockey is 90% the brain, training your
Wow.
brain, and 10% the skating. So
Wow.
that comes to you when you have the mindset, and then you know that, okay, you know what, I want to be the greatest hockey player. And but some of the greatest hockey players in the world, they were not like really like the biggest or the tallest kids. No, like Wayne
Mm.
Gretzky, like he was really a little kid, and he's like one of the best Hall of Fame, hockey Hall of Fame. So it's 90% brain, training your brain to become a hockey player. So so many families, and especially in Seattle. I mean, like in the East Coast, it's very different. Hockey is
Yeah.
pretty much like it's more well established. Although we do have great teams in the West Conference, like the Knights, but hockey in particular in Seattle is really booming right now, and lots of families are getting their kids involved because there are so many good programs. But sometimes these parents and the players, they come to the whole spiel and the lifestyle, not knowing what they are getting into.
Mm.
Mm.
So as I mentioned, it's not just about putting on skate and go on the ice. No, it's consistency. It's morning, every day drive to the rink and back.
Yeah.
Literally, you are practicing every single day. And that's not just skating. It's the IQ, the art of the game, and the rivalry, and the camaraderie and the friendship and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm.
a lot of parents also, they don't know, they don't understand that, okay, you know what, I have to dedicate my time. I have to make sure I have time that I can basically pretty much drive my son or daughter to their game or practice every single day.
Oof.
So we start and how to feed my child, how to make sure that they are hydrated, how to make sure that they are getting enough sleep, so all of this that I call them essence of hockey is basically the content that the essence of hockey is creating for the parents. All the real stuff, right? Not the fluff.
So your
but the
target
real.
user is a hockey parent.
Hockey parents, hockey coaches, and hockey players.
Yeah. So
Wow.
there's a lot more than just watching Mighty Ducks a few times, it sounds like.
Absolutely.
I think this is so cool because it really, like, UX design is one of the biggest things that's great about this career is that
Yeah.
you get full blown immersion into any industry or company or whatever that, you know,
Correct.
it's everywhere. So you can be a UX designer for a pet food company, or you can be a UX designer for, you know, an e-commerce retailer or whatever. And now you are doing UX for hockey. I mean, this
True.
is so interesting that you have brought something that you're already living, breathing, doing, and you're bringing UX to it, you know, now in like a role that you've created for yourself. You know,
Correct.
no one hired you to this role. You dreamed this up for you.
Absolutely. You mentioned it in the beginning. You said that you saw a need and you jumped at it. It's exactly what happened with this. And the cool thing is that when I show the content, when the content comes up on the social media, or I show the content to some of the coaches that I want to partner with, they are immediately hooked. They're like, "This is fabulous. I love this. How can I help you? I
Wow.
really, I wish I had this like 5 years ago. Tell me, I do anything." Like, and it's a need. It's something, and again, on top of that, being inclusive too. The world, 65% of the world population, they're visual, and they're visual people, and they're visual learners. So
Yeah.
I have combined the science that is already out there. There's so many great books. There are so many great articles on the NHL website, on the USA Hockey website, but not because there is a lot. Maybe not, I'm sure that parents don't even have time to go and read everything. So we just like kind of bring it into this nice flow of information with videos and with audio. And so then they can learn about, what they are getting into in their own time and in their own way.
That's cool. So you are creating this content. So you're producing, you're coming up with the content, you're doing everything.
I pretty much do everything. Yeah. I pretty much
Sounds
do
like so much fun.
everything. It's really fun. I do have partners. I do have coaches that help me, to come up with the content. I've been around hockey for decades, but I am not a coach per se. I'm an assistant coach. So I do take the content to, again, like the subject matter expert, run it by them, and to make sure that the content that I am providing for the families, for the parents, for the players, and other coaches, that they're prospects and they want to become a coach in the future, the content is right and has good quality, basically.
Well, Bahar, we're almost out of time. So I want to just say thank you again for coming on the show with us. It was awesome to have you.
Yes, thank you.
If you need any advice or sympathy for your UX career, just write to us at survivingux@gmail.com. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Surviving UX is hosted and edited by Jessamyn Edwards and Meg Kramer. Our theme music is, among other things, the on-hold music for Cisco phones, Opus No. 1, by Tim Carlton and Derek Deal. See you next time!